My name is Joseph Lee. I am a partner with Lee & Lazara. I have a diverse history of practice, but three areas which are distinctive are civil rights, including employment, appeals, and personal injury. What drives me is how law affects people in every aspect of their lives, especially those times when they are most in need. Whether it's because they were injured, or whether because they're facing criminal charges, or whether it's because they need to plan for their family's well-being after they're gone. Law is a creation by man, and my interest initially was philosophical and academic, but it evolved into how practical and how effective it is and how prevalent it is in everyone's lives. I did my undergraduate at University of North Carolina. I went to law school at Duke. My first job outside of law school was clerking for the 4th District Court of Appeal. Afterwards, I was privileged to do a federal district clerkship in the Southern District of Georgia. From there, I was with the Attorney General's office, both doing criminal appeals and civil trial defense. I was a felony prosecutor, I was in private practice, and I was also with the Public Defender's office as my last position before joining Lee & Lazara as a partner. My first position as far as practicing law was with the Attorney General's office doing criminal appeals. So my first client was actually the state of Florida. And while realizing the need for law and order, it was kind of amorphous because my client was not an actual person but an entity. So from that it sort of evolved into more of an interest in terms of the human aspect of law. My most interesting story, my favorite story as an attorney, when I was a felony prosecutor, there was a prosecution for sale of a controlled substance, and the controlled sale by a confidential informant. And when the confidential informant was testifying and then identified the defendant as the person who had sold him the controlled substance, the defendant actually raised his hand to identify himself in the courtroom. What I do now is in large part because of an academic interest in law, especially with regard to sort of more niche practices like appeals or complex federal cases involving everything, including employment or civil rights. But also from a personal aspect. I have a special needs daughter who is the product, all of her injuries are because of medical malpractice. I was the trustee and the guardian for both my parents, so I understand the necessity in terms of proper planning for people who want to leave a legacy for their children. So both from the academic experience in terms of the niche areas and personal experience, and seeing, for example, like how much criminal charges can affect someone's life even outside the confines of the criminal case, both academically and personally, it sort of drove me to understand the impact of law. When people are in need, whether it's because they were injured or because they have criminal charges pending against them, and these criminal charges can affect their lives even outside the criminal case, or whether they lost their livelihood, their job without cause, or even in terms of trying to keep the system honest through appellate process if that's what's necessary, then in that way it keeps the system honest, and it helps people establish their rights, and it helps the planning in terms of the organization of their lives through law. I see myself continuing as a partner with Lee & Lazara, doing what I love, doing what I'm doing now, doing everything to ensure that the law is present and properly utilized by people for every aspect of their lives from beginning to end, especially the people who are most in need, the people who are injured, the people who are hurt, the people who have lost their civil rights, the people who have lost their employment without cause. And I want to try to make a difference with that. I have a special needs daughter who is suffering from injuries for a lifetime because of medical malpractice. That helps me relate to everyone in terms of how important law is, especially those who are hurt the most, especially those who need justice and who need the assistance of law and the assistance of attorneys to make sure that these things don't happen again, and God forbid if they do happen again, that the law is there to help protect them and to help make things right. And as someone who is a proud second-generation Korean, I understand the need of the first generation and the need of immigrants more generally of understanding and implementing and using the law, because the law is present in everyone's lives. My name is Joseph Lee. I am a partner with Lee and Lazara, attorneys at law. My goal is to ensure that the law is on your side.